Okay, this is a start. Basically, the modes and scales and chords all fit into music theory. Trying to learn one all by itself may not get you the kind of connection that you want. You know the major scale of Do, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, or C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You know that major scale, you've heard it. If you use only those notes and then build chords within that scale of those notes, you use C, E, G for the C chord, and D, F, A for the D chord, and throughout the rest of the chords. When you use only the notes of the scale, the C first chord is a major, the second chord is minor because D, F, A, using only like the white notes on a keyboard, the arrangement makes it a minor chord in the key of C. E minor is only using the notes from the key of C, makes choosing to use the root of the E as your chord, and building from that, it naturally falls into E minor. Then you have F major, and it's the same thing, using only the notes from the key of C. When you build the chord F, A, C, then that makes it a major chord. To not confuse you, but that would be the F minor chord, but I didn't want to get lost there. But that falls F major. The G, G, B, D, in the key of C, building a chord on that, it's a major chord. A, using the notes A, C, E, to build the chord, using it from the key of C, like only the white notes on a piano. The A becomes, it's minor because A, C, E, A, C, E. This C would be C sharp if the A was a major chord, and that's something, another scale or another key. And then the last chord, if you build it on B, which is like the last leading tone of the scale, but that B, it's a like a squished chord. It's called a diminished chord. It's basically where you have C, E, G. That's a C, a major third, and a perfect fifth, or a major fifth, if you will. But when you use the B, you end up with a B, F. So, and then basically D, B, F, A for the sorry, the B minor chord. But that creates that diminished chord just by the way using only the notes from the key of C. So you end up with C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. And it's that instead of the perfect fifth, it's a flattened fifth. and it's tension. It's not doesn't fit well into the chords. The point of all of these is that when you pick a key, C is the first note of the scale. That would be the one chord. The D being the second note of the scale is called the two chord. The E being the third note of the C major scale, building a chord off of that note, it's the three chord. And then the F is a 4, and the G is a 5, because it's built on the C, D, E, F, G, G being the fifth note of the scale. Using a chord to build from that, it's the 5 chord. A minor, sixth note of the scale, is the 6th chord. And then B diminished, or half diminished in this case, is the 7 chord. You can think of any given scale in terms of its chord function. For example, C is the 1 chord, F is the 4 chord, G is the 5 chord, and then back to 1. And you've heard, blues and 1, 4, 5, 4, 1. So that's a function. And so the chord function of 1 and 4 and 5, I'm going to go to another space about defining how that function is created, but essentially that by having that the chord as a function, when you pick a new key, you pick the chords that fit that function. Example, in the key of A, the 1 chord is an A, the 4 chord is a D, the 5 chord is an E, and then the 1 chord again back. So you got a kind of a blues thing. But so you have the chord function helping move, it helps you understand where that chord is within the sense of harmony of a key. So if it's in the key of C, these chords by their function support the harmony of C, so that they all sound like they're in the key of C. So that when you get back to C, there's a sense of motion and it moving back to that home chord, to the home note, to the tonal center of the song. So you can learn the chord function of 1, 4, 5. You'll hear that described as blues a lot of times, or things of that nature. So the 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, or 1, 4, 5 in the key of A. So by understanding the concept of chord function, you can rapidly assimilate other pieces of songs and things like that, because that sense of chord function is like so deeply ingrained in like 99% of the music that we have. So it instantly gives you a roadmap for that instantly I know once I've got the 1, 4, 5, say in the key of A, my first chord, the 1 chord, is a major chord. My second chord, the B, is a minor chord. The third chord, the 3 chord, if it's built on the third of the key of A and blah, 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 is a minor. Then I get back to the 4 chord of the key of A is major. 5 chord in the key of A, major, and back to 1. So instantly, by having that concept of function, of chord function understanding, you can piece together what all chords will fit. They tell you the key, and then that the 1 chord is in the key of C major, the 1 chord is a C major, and the 4 chord is a major, and then the 3 chord is a minor. So you've got instantly a grasp of some of the structure of the form of what chords to expect and to to um, see the um, the relationship. So gosh, basically the best way to describe it is the 1 4 5. You know that there's a sense of movement. So like I said, you know what chords mechanically to expect, but you also can sense what chords are um, going to come up in written form, as in what's going to be on the page, because you know that this chord tends to lead to this other chord. Most notably, what we have, the cadence, the cadence. It's like step, to take a step, a footfall, really. So cadence of that sense of being somewhere and going to a resolution, and um, that's basically a start on this concept of chord function. We'll go from here.